Hello, Serge here from the Backyard Driving Range. I have a question, came in at customer service. And this one is Nick from San Francisco. And Nick says, Don, I have all your videos. I go to the tee finish. I hit the ball solid, but it mostly leaks right. The feel of my right shoulder is coming around too soon, which will cause the big fade. Also, when I come up to the finish, my left arm is off the body and there is not the toe over the heel, which can create greater distance. I will go back to your CDs tonight. Wishing you well, Nick from San Fran. Okay, Nick, let's talk about what your issues are here. And it sounds like you're doing it with everything. And if the paraphrase what you said, you feel like your right shoulder is coming around too soon, it's obvious you're a right-hander. And by coming around, I think you're saying that if I'm hitting to the target here, your right shoulder is coming around here. And so if your right shoulder is coming around, that's over the top. And that would hit pulls if you release the impact. And it's obvious, I'll bet you that you do hit a reasonable amount of pulls. But the predominance of your shots are what? Are a compensation to stop the pull, which eventually, as I like to say, if the old TV show would have had 3 doors, pick door 1, 2, or 3, we want to hit it through 2 in the middle. But when you start hitting it through 1 too much to the left, and you try to stop going through 1 on the left, you end up opening up your hands, or as I call it, under-releasing your lower hand, opens up the face, and you go through door 3 out to the right. And then therefore you live in this kind of army golf game, right, left, right, whatever you want to do, and every now and then you hit it relatively straight, but probably most of those are going to be a little bit thin because you're still trying to stop it from going left or right, and you're tightening up and just trying to steer it out there and contend to, mostly if anything, thin it. So the point is, you're somewhat, if the right shoulder is coming around, as you say, that's coming over the top. That's an outside-in swing path. All right. So what are the main causes of that? Well, like anything that we ever talk about with a golf swing has to always go back to setup first. The setup determines the motion. And what is the number one cause of swing issues? Alignment. 90 to 95% of all swing problems arise out of alignment. And so the tendency of all right-handers is to basically, if you make a mistake, aim to the right, especially if you're trying to hit it straight. The only golfers I see consistently aiming left, when I ask them, why are you aiming left? They always, I said, do you know that you're aiming left? Oh yeah, I know I am. Why do you aim left? Well, I'm playing for my slice. Well, those folks will hit a pull every now and then, but that'll be very rare for them. They're just going to plain old slice. And so the question becomes that if you're playing for a slice and you don't want it to slice, that's reverse psychology there, because if you're playing for it and aiming to the left, it has to slice to make the ball go to the target, and that's what the ultimate goal of hitting every shot is to make the ball go to the target. All right? So if you don't want to slice, the answer is you can't play for it. Because if you play for it, you got to have what you don't want. All right? And so therefore, what we all want is to hit the ball relatively straight. When I ask every new student, what do you want to hit the ball? They all want to hit it relatively straight, maybe with a little draw. All right? So that means the physics of that impact is on, square and solid. All right? And to do that, you have to be aimed parallel left. But if you're aimed to the right, which means if I'm aimed out here and the aiming line's over there, so again, if this is my aiming line, but my toes are out and my body's out there, and if I swung straight down with my right side working, staying down below the left as my shoulders came in this way instead of that way, right? You see that? I'm come through this way instead of that way, over the top. I can't, if I come in this way, aim to the right, the ball's going to go a mile to the right, so you have to come back to the aiming line over the top. But as you come back to the aiming line, you're turning out of the shot too fast, a little bit too much turn, and next thing now, instead of hitting to the camera, I can keep going, and now I'm going way out there. So I'll be hitting to left field instead of center field. So alignment's the first issue. Assuming you're aiming correctly, all right, what would be another big issue? Well, the whole premise of the peak performance golf swing is in the catcher's mitt, toe up, and up the tree with a limited turn, 70 degrees, not 90 or more, and to only swing to 3/4 backswing. Well, if one is turning too much, you're immediately getting into the sacred burial ground. That is every point behind your toe line. If this is my toe line, then everything back here behind my toe line is the sacred burial ground on both sides of me. The rule is we can stand in it, but if you swing in it, you're dead. Because if you swing in it, right, if I make too big a turn now, you can see like where my toe line is right here. If I turn too much in here, to hit the ball straight, I got to come back to the line. And there's that right side up coming up high and over. All right? Come back to the line to get to it. If you stayed inside the line, you'd be hitting it a mile out to the right. So you're coming back to the line. So that's a number key of turning too much. What's another key that makes people turn too much? Well, we've been told that when you were learning to swing and they wanted you to make a bigger turn, lift the left foot and kick the knee in more. So that gives you more range of motion. So your foot comes up, your knee goes in, your hips are allowed to turn more, your shoulders can turn more, and therefore you're going to get deeper in the sacred burial ground and very likely longer. And now you go to parallel more. You got to pull it up before you pull it down, and all of that engages the upper body the wrong way because it's got to help pull the club up now and pull it back to the aiming line, up and around. Golf's like life. Just think of this expression. Golf is like life. What goes around comes around. What goes straight up comes straight down. So those two are about the two critical issues of what causes over the top. I'll give you one last one, and that would be that even if you had the good alignment and the proper swing, if you stand here and like a lot of people have been taught to pause at the top and to start with your shoulders or to start by turning your body to the left, that's going to move you forward, ahead, and by the turning is going to make the club go out. When we get air, we're preloaded heavy right. We swing the club up, we're behind the ball, the lower body starts to swing, and when you do a proper transfer, what we call the bump, I come back here and I bump, my weight rolls to the outside of my foot, my body bows more, I'm staying behind the ball, my knees are staying quite level through the swing because I didn't have this and that, they're staying quite level, I can just swing right down and through and hit the ball. All right? The good drill for that is skipping rocks in the lake. Nobody skips rocks by cocking in knees, kicking your knees and turning your hips and snapping your hips the other way. You just stay relatively level, you keep your spine in the same place, and you swing. And you stay right here and swing right through the target, right down the target line where you want the rock to go. So, right shoulder coming over the top, there's a whole bunch of problems, but alignment is usually part of the number one issue, knees, and then just plain old turning too fast to starting your swing with your upper body instead of your lower body, which we call that a timing error. So skip rocks, get that feeling, but most importantly, get the setup correct, grip stance posture, alignment, parallel left, and then in the mitten up the tree, what goes straight up comes straight down and has a better chance of going straight up. And straight will work when you're a parallel left because now you're swinging straight up and down your aiming line. Okay, that's it for the search for today, and I'll be talking to y'all again soon.